Donald Trump has fooled a lot of people. We have two measures here that he is implementing that really do go against some of the things that he ran on. And people are calling it out for it. I'm actually going to tell you, I was kind of surprised. Some of Trump's supporters are calling him out for this. One of them being a corporate media pundit, which we'll show you as well. Here's the first thing. As much as Donald Trump said that he is going to be America first, we're going to look out for Americans, he just announced that he is going to allow 600,000 students from China to come to university here in the United States. The same guy who tells you that China is so bad and so evil and oh my God, look out for China, just announced he is going to allow 600,000 students from China to come to the universities here in the United States. Now, I worked in university for over 10 years. I'm going to tell you what this is really about. Because part of this has to do with a trade agreement that Donald Trump is trying to make with China. And this seems to be, what the offer is on the table or what he's offering them on the table. And he's actually trying to convince people that this is America first. It's not. Let's go ahead and get into this announcement from him. And look at this. Here we go. This is a Trump supporter, chief Trumpster. So we didn't get mass deportations, but instead are getting mass importation of labor, students, and workers to take our jobs. Does importing 600,000 Chinese students to take spots of Americans in schools sound America first to you? Here it is.
President Xi would like me to come to China. It's a very important relationship. As you know, we're taking a lot of money in from China because of the tariffs and the different things. And it's a very important relationship. We're going to get along good with China. I hear so many stories about we're not going to allow their students. We're going to allow their students to come in. We're going to allow, it's very important, 600,000 students. It's very important. But we're going to get along with China. But it's a different relationship that we have now with China. It's a much better relationship economically than it was before. With Biden, boy, what he allowed they just took him to the cleaners. President Xi.
So I have been saying over and over again, and I mark my words on this one, that there have been no mass deportations under Donald Trump's presidency. No mass deportations. There have been controversial ones, yes, but no mass deportations. The numbers don't show that. You can Google the numbers for yourself. I called this out when he allowed the Afrikaners to come to the U.S. and expedited their visa process to get them here. And now you see he's allowing China to send students here to the United States, right? Now, students from China have already been attending schools here in the U.S. This is not new, but it goes against everything that he ran on. This whole idea of being America first. Well, if 600,000 students from China come to university here in the United States, that's not America first, because that takes spots from the domestic students that want to attend those schools. And I'm going to tell you what this is really about. I was an academic advisor. I worked in higher ed for 10 years. Actually, about 11 if you count that 1 year. I was working from home. Roughly about 11 years. Okay. The international students that attend university in the US, they pay because they don't qualify for financial aid. That's not how it works, right? Like, they're not eligible for that. But in order for them to attend some of these universities, they have to prove that their parents can pay tuition for 4 years. They have to prove that up front. Some of these universities have gotten to the point that they rely so heavily on the international students because it's a business. These colleges have turned into businesses. So that's where a lot of the enrollment and recruitment has been coming from over the past couple of years. I gave a strong warning about this when I was still working at Boston University, and I encouraged and urged them to try to recruit more domestic students. Of course, who am I? I'm nobody, right? Like, I'm not a 10-year faculty member. So of course they didn't want to listen to me. Then the pandemic happened, that little thing. And then all of a sudden, some of these programs like the mathematics finance program, business analytics program, some of these programs that heavily relied on recruiting students from China and from Korea because of the math scores, all of a sudden we're in a rough spot. Because now some of those students were like, well, I'm not going to pay all that money to attend a school I can't even physically go to right now because of the lockdowns. But this wouldn't have happened if they would have never decided, let's just deprioritize the domestic students and let's just focus on the international students where we can get the money from. And that's what a lot of these universities have been doing. That's Boston University. That's MIT. That's Harvard. That's a lot of them. So they rely on that money. Donald Trump is doing this not because he cares about students in China. Don't get it twisted. He doesn't. He's doing it because he is trying to do this trade agreement with China. And that's the offer that he puts on the table. But that's not what he ran on. Because ideally, the students that attend those colleges and enter in those STEM programs, that's primarily where a lot of people are going, into those STEM programs, they go on to get great jobs with these companies. And then another thing that they get upset about, the career coaches get upset about, they're like, well, they all come here and they go to school here, but then they go back home. They're not obligated to stay here. When people come to attend school in the US, they're not obligated to sign their life away to a job here in the United States. Not everybody wants to stay here. Some people just want to come here to go to school and then they want to go back home where, I don't know, housing is more affordable, or housing is guaranteed, or healthcare is guaranteed. So those skills and those degrees are going elsewhere a lot of the times. Now, not all of them, but a lot of times that happens. I ran into this my last year in academic advising, and I asked, like, you don't want to stay here? And you know what a lot of the kids would tell me, those that were from China? They're like, well, no. I came to the US, I got a degree here. I'm pretty much guaranteed a job back home in China. Why would I stay here and go through the rat race of looking for a job and then trying to secure a work visa when I'm pretty much guaranteed a job back home? That's the value of a US degree. And that's the reality. The point is, Trump lied. And you can see that. And I've said this before. You guys, we really got to get more like the STEM programs. The STEM programs need to be increased at K through 12. And there's no comparison. I went through a number of applications, and I'm here to tell you, these SAT scores, these GMAT scores, these GRE scores, when you look at those scores from the domestic students and you compare it to the scores of the students that are coming from countries like China and Korea and Germany, something's missing. So that's more that we have to do here in the public education system. But the reality is, this goes against what Trump was saying. In fact, there was a commentator that called him out about it on Fox News. I think you might remember her.
It's very important.
Mr. Secretary, with all due respect, how is allowing 600,000 students from the communist country of China putting America first?
Well, the president's point of view is that what would happen if you didn't have those 600,000 students is that you'd empty them from the top. All the students would go up to better schools, and the bottom 15% of universities and colleges would go out of business in America. So his view is he's taking a rational economic view, which is classic Donald Trump, looking at higher education and saying,
but why are you
until we
Harvard?
modify that.
Hold on. I want you guys to really pay attention to what this guy just said. Listen to what he openly admits here.
With all due respect, how is allowing 600,000 students from the communist country of China putting America first?
Of course, she had to say communist. She had to add that in there, right? By the way, for the record, there is no true communist country in the world.
Well, the president's point of view is that what would happen if you didn't have those 600,000 students is that you'd empty them from the top. All the students would go up to better schools, and the bottom 15% of universities and colleges would go out of business in America. So his view is he's taking.
Do you guys realize what he's saying? He's basically telling you that if Donald Trump did not take this approach, then basically the domestic students would end up getting those enrollment spots at those universities. That's really what he's saying. Like, I can't make this up. And again, and it's one of those things I said before, for me, whatever. I've advised students, domestic students, international students, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, this is Trump going back on what he said he was going to do. And that's why you see so many of them, even her, Laura Ingraham. This is why she's pushing back, because she's like, wait a minute. So you see, people say one thing when they're running, and once they're in, they do what benefits corporate interests. And that's really what this is about. This is about what benefits corporations, what benefits corporate interests, not what benefits the working class.
Rational economic view, which is classic Donald Trump, looking at higher education and saying,
but why are you
until
helping
we
Harvard?
Modify that.
That just helps Harvard and UCLA and UCal Berkeley and I mean you're all helping those schools. Why? They're like, basically factories of anti-American propaganda. And now they're getting a big influx of cash because of the Chinese students. I know President Trump has always been very pro-Chinese student. I just don't understand it for the life of me. Those are 600,000 spots that American kids won't get.
And let me say something else here. This just goes to show you that the grief, the spat that Trump had with Harvard was just personal, which is what I was saying all along. When he tried to change the restrictions so that Harvard wouldn't be able to enroll students or enroll a certain number of students for the student visa process, that was personal. That was not about, I don't want international students here. That's not what that was about. That was a personal attack against Harvard. And a lot of that has to do with some of the people who donated to Harvard also donated to Donald Trump's campaign, like Bill Ackman, for example. So that was Donald Trump doing the work of people like Bill Ackman. So you guys see, this is all full of shit. Okay, thank you.
I'll tell you what I'm involved in. I'm involved in changing the H-1B program, right? We're going to change that program. Because that's terrible, right? We're going to change the green card. You know, we give green cards. The average American makes $75,000 a year, and the average green card recipient, $66,000. So we're taking the bottom quartile. Right. Like, why are we doing that? That's why Donald Trump is going to change it. That's the gold card that's coming. And that's we're going to start picking the best people to come into this country. It's time for that to change.
I think
you see this?
Our American engineering students need to be given the first role at every job, and I think they're brilliant when given half a chance. But Mr. Secretary, I know you're juggling a lot of balls over there. We really appreciate your explaining a lot of this to us. Thank you.
Juggling a lot of balls. So here's the thing, right? So you guys see it. So it was a lie. So he lied to you. And that's okay to admit. Trump played a lot of people. He also playing them with this. On top of that, now Trump wants to criminalize burning the American flag, which is protected under the First Amendment. And here's the thing about the First Amendment. You don't necessarily have to like what the person is doing, but that doesn't mean it's not protected. And that's exactly what happened in here. So now you got Donald Trump making an executive order where he is saying that it's criminal to burn the American flag. Listen to it. Check it out. And this is Clint Russell. Clint Russell said, I've never wanted to burn an American flag, but I might do it today now that Trump violated the First Amendment by making it illegal. Check this out.
Lastly, sir, this is an executive order on flag burning. It charges your attorney general.
Would you listen to this? This is very important. Flag burning. All over the country, they're burning flags. All over the world, they burn the American flag. And as you know, through a very sad court, I guess it was a 5-4 decision. They called it freedom of speech. But there's another reason, which is perhaps much more important. It's called death. Because what happens when you burn a flag is the area goes crazy. If you have hundreds of people, they go crazy. You could do other things. You can burn this piece of paper. You can, and it's But when you burn the American flag, it incites riots at levels that we've never seen before. People go crazy. In a way, both ways. There are some that are going crazy for doing it. There are others that are angry about them doing it. Do you want to discuss that?
Sure.
So here's something that's really interesting, and I'm seeing people get into spats online about this particular thing here. If you consider yourself to be free speech, free press, free expression, you should 100% oppose this. I don't give a damn if it's Trump doing it, if it's Biden doing it. It doesn't matter to me if it's a certain party that's doing it. You should be against it. Because 1 minute it's the flag, the next minute it's something else. This is protected by the First Amendment. And to me, I see this as though this is a way for Donald Trump again send another signal to Israel. What's next? They're going to criminalize you burning the Israeli flag? Some people say that's too far. I don't think so. Not this day and age. Right? So what is coming down the pipeline next? I think this would feed the prison industrial complex for sure. Private prisons would love this. Yes, let's lock up more people. So to me, it's just kind of like, then some people are like, well, why would they want to burn the American flag? That's not the point. That's not the point. There are a number of demonstrations that have happened in this country that I may agree or disagree with, but I always agree that they had the right to do it under the First Amendment. And I think what some people are starting to do is they're looking at things that they disagree with and saying, no, it shouldn't be allowed because I disagree with it. But there's always going to be someone who disagrees. That's the problem. So yeah, that's a violation of free speech. Then hear what he wants the punishment to be. Listen to this.
What the executive order does, sir, it charges your Department of Justice with investigating instances of flag burning, and then where there's evidence of criminal activity, where prosecution wouldn't fall afoul of the First Amendment, and instructs the Department of Justice to prosecute those who are engaged in these instances of flag burning.
And what the penalty is going to be, if you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail. No early exits, no nothing. You get 1 year in jail. If you burn a flag, you get, and what it does is incite to riot. I hope they use that language, by the way. Did they?
Yeah, incitement is.
Incite to riot. And you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail. You don't get 10 years, you don't get 1 month. You get 1 year in jail, and it goes on your record.
Feeding the private prison industrial complex. This is absolutely ridiculous. And here they are considering, think about this for a second. They're actually considering pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell, but they want to send you to prison for 1 year if you burn the American flag. While this woman helped traffic and, according to some of the victims, participated in the activity of assaulting these girls, underage girls. But they're actually considering pardoning her, but they want you to go to jail for burning the American flag. You see how power protects power? That's where we're at now. We have a veteran that was already arrested. I'll show you that in just a second.
And you will see flag burning stopping immediately, just like when I signed the Statute and Monument Act. 10 years in jail if you hurt any of our beautiful monuments. Everybody left town. They were gone. Never had a problem after that. It's pretty amazing. We stopped it. But this is something that's, I don't know, in a certain way, it's equally as important. Some people would say it's more important because the people in this country don't want to see our American flag burned and spit on. And by people that are, in many cases, paid agitators. They're paid by the radical left to do it. You talk to these people, they don't even know, half of them don't even know what they're doing. They say, I don't know. They gave me money to do this. I see the same things that you do. They're bad people. They're trying to destroy our nation. That's not working because I think our nation now is the most respected nation anywhere in the world by far. You saw that with the European leaders on Friday. You saw that with NATO, where they agreed to go from 2% no pay to 5% fully paid up, trillions of dollars paid, where they respect your president to a level that they jokingly call me the president of Europe. They call me the president of Europe, which is an honor. I like Europe and I like those people. They're good people. They're great leaders. And we've never had a case where 7 plus really 28, essentially 38 countries were represented here the other day. 38 European countries were European and other countries were represented, and it was a great meeting. But your country is respected again. I say it all the time. 1 year ago, our country was dead. Everybody said it. We had a dead country. We were not going to survive. Now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. So it's an honor to be involved. And this group has a lot to do with it right behind me.
This is absolutely pathetic. Like, it's just, again, I don't agree with some of the things that happen, some of the demonstrations that happen. I don't agree with. There's a number of things that I'm like, oh, that's, I don't agree with that. But I never get up here and say they should not be allowed to do it. And that's essentially what Donald Trump is doing right here with the flag burning. And again, I even saw, like, I don't know if I put it here. I probably didn't. But yes, I did. Robbie. So even Robbie, look at this. The Supreme Court has ruled on this. It protected freedom of expression. The First Amendment exists, obviously unconstitutional. That's Robbie Suave from Rising. I don't think I got the one from Sagar, but Sagar said something against it as well. Like, that's what I'm saying. Even people who are conservative, I guess Robbie's libertarian / conservative. I don't know. I can't keep up these days. But even some of the people who are conservative are speaking out against this because, and here's the thing, it sets a precedent. It sets a precedent because the next president that comes in, like let's say a Democrat comes in 2028, then maybe they could make an executive order to ban some form of free speech that, they may feel is wrong, or freedom of expression that they may feel is wrong. This is what I'm saying. It sets a precedent. Now, there was a veteran here who apparently was arrested for burning the American flag. So listen to this. Check out this guy.
However you feel that you may want to express yourself. There's a First Amendment right to burn the American flag. The Archdiocese in that house right there signed an executive order today saying that it was illegal to burn the American flag. No president can make a law, period. No Congress shall make a law infringing on First Amendment rights. I'm burning this flag as a protest to that illegal fascist president that sits in that house. Do this for every single one of you American citizens. We burn this flag in protest to that president who feels that it's his right to do whatever he wants, make whatever law he wants. That President Trump put forward today. According to that executive order, I should be in prison right now serving 1 year.
A veteran. So So he says he's a veteran. There's another part here I wanted to show you. Here's him here as well.
Yep, I'm being detained because I expressed my First Amendment right to burn the United States flag in public, not causing harm or causing any danger to any citizens or personnel in the area. Do this for every single one of you American citizens. We burn this flag in protest to that president who feels that it's his right to do whatever he wants, make whatever law he wants, regardless if it's legal or illegal.
Yeah, and we saw that part. So you see what's happening, right? Right. So we have to ask this question. When does an executive order become law? Now, here's the tricky part. The part there where Donald Trump said that you would be in prison for 1 year. If you read the executive order, it doesn't say that, but it's kind of vague, as though it's kind of left up to the commander in chief. It's kind of left up to who's in charge. So I guess that's what he would do to you. Now, I would sincerely hope they would not put this guy in prison for 1 year, but this shouldn't happen at all. This shouldn't happen, period. That's the problem. And then there's another thing, and we really gotta say something about this, folks. What is going on with Donald Trump? because he don't look too good. And I saw this, and I don't know if everybody saw it. And this says Buffy. And this is like the Buffy the Vampire Slayer Stan account or something. Y'all, it's happening. What the hell is that on Donald Trump's hand? What is that? It's purple? Purplish? Zoom in. What is that? That does not look good. Does not look good. Potato Head said demonic possession. Brian said blood clots. Danny said deep vein thrombosis. Yeah, that don't look good. Because you know what it reminds me of? Remember when Mitch McConnell had the purple fingers? And, you know, he wasn't doing too well and he like fainted or whatever. It just does not look good. Something is not going on. Something is off here with Donald Trump. I don't think his health is A-okay. You know? So we saw, you know, Biden had his issues, cognitive decline, and I don't know what this is. Some people would think it's a bruise or whatever. I don't know. But it looks like, if I zoom in on it, it almost looks like someone tried to cover it up with makeup. Don't know. I think that Trump is out of his mind. I think like we're in, oh my God, it's 2025. And I just feel like we have been living in a nightmare for like years. And I don't know what is going on there. But it doesn't look like Trump may be in the best health either. So there's a lot going on. So you have the flag burning, which again, like I said, I support the First Amendment 100%. So I'm very much against that. And number two, you have him lying once again about the international students, et cetera. And it just goes to show you that what he did to Harvard was personal more than anything. This is why I say do not make politicians a hero. And this is why I tried to warn people that Donald Trump he was running on a populist message because he knows that's what helps him get elected. He ran on a populist message in 2016, he won. He ran on a populist message again, 2024, and he won. And if it had not been, I really believe if it had not been for the pandemic, I think he would have won re-election in 2020. But just because they run on these things doesn't mean they're actually going to do it. So now they really want to criminalize people for burning the American flag. It has come to this. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.